People, Deluded, thank you very much for tuning back in. I'm back again now. I hope you're all doing well and safe this morning. I'm not going to be here long, people, or at least I'm not trying to be here long, but I've got a quick couple things to say. Now, I feel football is a funny old game. I feel football, you cannot take the opinion that you know everything, both on and off the field, because it has a way of humbling you. It has a way of showing you actually don't know what you're talking about. It has a way of always educating you, and I'd say that's the great beauty of football. You see a lot of great beautiful moments, but by the same logic, football is a beautiful game, but it's a nasty game, not because of the game, because of certain individuals. And one thing that always pains me is when I see a lot of footballers painted as bad attitudes, as rebels, as mercenaries, as this and that. Don't get it twisted, a lot of players do carry on like that, but you never hear how the club's moving, people. Now again, most of these media people make hot takes. They don't know the people behind the scenes involved in dealings or treatments of players. But you never hear how these clubs move people. It's always the players. And I will say for a fact, I have heard stories and have first-hand experience of these things. Football is a shady game, people. There's for instance, obviously football's a small world, yeah. Let's take this. There's been a couple of examples of people I've spoken to and people I know personally. Let's say this, yeah. There's this promising player, yeah, spoken about as having the next potential as Jaden Sancho and all of these things, people. He's a young boy, 14, 15 years of age, so I won't get involved in all of that and the club he plays for. But because of that, he's been banging it at club academy level. He's been being looked at for England camp and England youth sides and whatnot. The England youth scout, it's a small world because the scout, his brother is an agent. They went to his house and then tried to sign him. Now that is immoral. Get him signed to the agency. And there's a lot of clubs that move like that, people. There's a lot of head of academies and people within the know that they'll try and get or coaches, they'll try and get the players they're coaching or with them to sign for these agencies so they can get a little pocket on the back end. Football is dirty, people. Do you know how many academy players I know that have carrots dangled above them? Clubs do some shady stuff, people. Clubs say if you're not signing a new deal, you're not going to go here and there. Clubs saying you're not going to play under 18s, you're not going to play 23s if you don't sign a new deal. And then the tactic they do as well, which I really don't like, is especially, I'm more talking the creme de la creme players, the ones that are ready to step up and get a look in. They start telling them, nah, you're not ready, you're this and that. And that gets into their mind. There's even more time they're doing this. They also try and get these players, because I know for a fact there's a certain player that was supposed to have certain things with a club. They're not trying to bring his advisors or his parents and what into the conversation. They're trying to get him isolated into a room by himself and cloud his judgment. And I'm sure a lot of academy parents that watch me and players that watch me know exactly what I'm talking about. Some people are shady people, and obviously when these young players or players in general are being told you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not going to do this and the other, you're going to become disillusioned. You're going to want to leave. You're going to want to leave. There's not much you can do, people. Clubs are shady as well. They do these things where, I get another example where a club and a player's not getting a look in terms of a pathway. He wants to leave because there's no pathway and there's no contract offer. Directly to the player was consistently side with sort of chat people, but then when he got to training the next day, all his teammates are saying, is it true you want to leave, and things like that. Clubs are dangerous, people. Not clubs, individuals. There's some nasty individuals, people, and I've seen that at top 6 clubs. I've seen that at teams at the bottom in the Premier League. I've seen it at League One. There's a lot of good individuals, don't get it twisted, but there's some people that get away with a lot. And it's especially, you don't know me, I like young players in particular. A lot of these young players that have gone that it's happened to, the carrot is being dangled. And then you get to a point where, let's say an academy player is doing everything he can do, smashing every opposition in front of him, but it's not down to him or his footballing ability or how much he improves. There's a lot of politics in football, people, and that's why I say the players need to do whatever they need to do, because these teams don't care about you. These teams do not care. You'll get the nice tracky, you'll get this and that. These teams do not care. And I feel one thing, if I was in a position I'd like to help, I do think a lot of players are badly advised and things like that, so I have to get onto agents, because sometimes agents are rubbish as well, you know, people. Not every agent can make things happen for you. Every agent can make something happen for Jaden Sancho. You don't even have to do nothing. Every agent, I'm sure you young players that watch me, I can get you into this academy, I can do this, I can do that. That's great, that's great. But what can you do for the players that are rubbish in that are under your stable, that are rubbish? What can you do for the players that are in a situation they need to get out? Anyone can get a good player moves. What can you do for the mediocre ones? What can you do when a player's not getting a pathway, what can you do for him? Do you know the chairman? Because a lot of these agents, they don't know anyone. They don't know anyone. They know the same players, the same contacts that the players do. If you know the same contacts as the players, why am I going to go to you? If I'm having a dispute with the head of recruitment and whatnot, and you only know the head of recruitment as an agent, why am I signing with you? You can't make nothing happen. But if you can go above him and go to the chairman and say, yo, listen, rare, this, that and the other, you're a different sort of kettle of fish. I feel a lot of players are badly advised with this whole agent thing. A lot of these agents just don't care about them. We'll let them rot and whatnot, and then we'll discard them. A lot of these agents, why do you think you see a lot of these players just rotting in 23s football, going through the motions? Because obviously a lot of them are comfortable, but these agents ain't making nothing happen for them. The good players, or the players that are not necessarily good but having success, are the ones where the agents are making things happen for them, people. Football is a shady game, people. One day there'll be a time to talk, but I have first-hand experiences of players that are being told they can't play, players that are intentionally being isolated, players that are because clubs cannot handle their agents or their family members protecting them, are trying to do this little thing of getting them in offices by themselves, and two coaches on one man getting into his head, trying to disillusion him. People, football is a shady game. You can never underestimate how dirty people are. There are some good agents, and I've spoken to some good. There's a lot of good agents. These are just a minority. Spoken to some good agents talking about certain things they're doing. It's sad, people. And if people understood these things more, they'd understand players. That's why it's not always the players' fault. It's not always bad attitude. You don't hear about these individuals that are moving mad and behaving crazy, people. And it's sad, to be fair, man. And that's why I say in today's day and age, player power's never been stronger. Do what you need to do. Don't stay at a club just for the fact of the prestige or the trackies and whatnot, because they will discard you. You'll find yourself 21, 22 years of age, no experiences. You'll get discarded because you're just a pawn. Clubs are... They're there to dangle carrots in your face and issue empty promises. You're just one of many, essentially. And then what happens? That's why I always say these players need to do what they need to do. That's why when I see Jaden Sancho do his thing, I don't mind it. Because if the Dortmund thing never happened for him, at least he did it for himself. Do you get it? He wanted to seize his future. Something wasn't happening for him in his current situation. So he went. Everybody's career is different. Everybody's thing is different, people. I just thought to highlight this because there's a lot of dark things people don't know, man. People don't see how the clubs move, how the individuals, better yet, within clubs, because I don't want to paint the whole club, but certain individuals within clubs, people don't see how they move, people don't see their dodgy dealings. People know about these things, but not fully understand it. There's players I've seen where people have said attitude problem. I'm like, no, he doesn't. One, you're chatting nonsense because he doesn't have an attitude problem. Two, you don't know the full story. And a lot of that is due to these academy and youth experts that think they have a damn clue about everything, really and truly. But it's always the players. It's never it's always the players. It's never the individuals. And every action has a reaction. Yes, some parents move mad. Yes, some people move mad. But it's not fair, really and truly, people. And that's all I've got to say, really, man. I've got nothing more to add on that front, really and truly. So yeah, thank you for watching. DG, I'm out.